Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. It is a preview show, a surprise preview show of the all-new Born Again Pigskin preview. Chaz Tavares alongside Patrick Fry. Pat, we finally get to talk a little high school football. It's Labor Day week. I know we're here at the office, and things are crazy in our work life. But that just means football season is back.
Yeah, you always know when football season comes around. At least here at the Town Square Media offices, it does not sneak up on you. It comes at you full frontal. And it is here. At least Jamboree Week is here. First real live football for high school football this week. Just about everybody's played in some sort of scrimmages
right.
the last couple of weeks. And now you really get the first real live game situations. A lot of jamborees are going to be happening all across Southwest Louisiana starting tomorrow night going into Friday. So if you want to get your first look at your favorite high school football team or even just high school football in general, tomorrow night and then Friday night is your first opportunity to do so. And then the lights turn on for real beginning next Thursday, September the 4th.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about the jamboree schedule coming up here in a little bit. Of course, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, this is Pigskin Preview. It's actually going to begin coming up next Wednesday. Today we are here in the Town Square Media Lake Charles office here off of one of our studios. You can see we've got our Gator 99.5 step and repeat here right behind us. We're going to have a 92.9 The Lake one, and all of this we will be in front of an audience next week. We'll be live from Walk-Ons in Lake Charles. I don't know about you, but it's taken a lot of work to get this show off and running, and add walk-ons with the there's a lot that goes into it, from obviously the prep work each and every week, but it's more of going there, making sure all the equipment sounds fine, make sure we can have enough audio to get the show rolling. That way everybody can hear it inside of the patio there at Walk-Ons in Lake Charles. And I'm super excited, more anxious than anything to get the show rolling Wednesday.
Yeah, we went do a little test run because normally when we use this, we use it for the game of the week where we just broadcast over the radio. Now we actually have to broadcast to a live studio audience, if you will. So obviously we have to make sure that they are able to hear us and that it sounds good and that it looks good, because obviously when we do the game of the week on the radio, you can't see us either. You can only hear us, so we have to make sure the visual is good, the sound is good, not just for the radio, but for the folks in attendance as well. So that adds just a couple of different aspects to our particular broadcast. So, yeah, a little bit more, I would arguably say, goes into this than our actual Southwest Louisiana game of the week each Friday or Thursday.
Yeah, and look, again, we're super excited. Again, it's going to debut next Wednesday night, Walk-Ons in Lake Charles. That's September the 3rd over at Walk-Ons, 7 to 8 p.m. You can get there early. We're going to have the entire back patio. Pat and I will be there a little bit early, setting everything up, getting everything ready to go. We'll be on a little bit of an elevated platform. That way everybody will be able to see us. And if you're there for the first show or watching on Facebook Live, because it's going to be obviously there inside of the store, it's going to be on 92.9 The Lake. It's going to be on 92.9 The Lake's Facebook page. And it's also going to be on my Facebook page here on Chaz Tavares Sports. If you're watching it for the first time next week, bear with us, because I promise we think we've got everything situated and ready to go. Something will go wrong. That's just how this thing works.
It's Murphy's Law. We live by it. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Yeah,
so
right.
we'll see what happens. I mean, I'd like to say we are professionals, but certainly this will be the first real run of this beginning next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. And again, so how this is going to work is we're going to do the Pigskin Preview Wednesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. and basically, whenever we announce our Southwest Louisiana game of the week on the Chaz Tavares Sports Facebook page on 92.9 The Lake for that week, the game of the week for that week, whatever two teams it is, whether it's Barb and Sulphur or Sam Houston and Leesville, or that's just two random teams. As soon as you see that your team is announced for the game of the week, we are inviting you and your fan base out to come join us at Walk-Ons in Lake Charles, because the plan is to have the two opposing coaches in the restaurant, in studio per se, on the stage, and we're going to have a quick interview with them throughout the show. Now, the show won't totally be centered towards the game of the week and those two teams, because basically we'll start it recapping the previous week. We'll visit with the coaches in the middle, and then we will preview the upcoming week in high school football. If for some reason, because I know with the high school football season, kind of with JV schedules and so on and so forth, some weeks we're not going to be able to have the coaches. That we'll get them to call in, but the goal is to have the coaches, which means we also want the fan bases as well to come out. That way you can come out and hear your coach and hear what they have to say, maybe a player or two as well. And another cool part of it is you got to come and eat those mozzarella logs, the boudin quesadillas, as we talked about yesterday.
Devil's on horseback, my personal favorite as well.
Whatever you're getting, you want to come and you want to make sure you're having it, because proceeds from a portion of the sales from the room that night there on the patio at Walk-Ons Lake Charles. Walk-Ons is going to donate a portion of the sales that night to split between the two schools of our game of the week, which is pretty exciting. It may not be a ton of money going back to the schools, but it's something, because let me tell you, those helmets, those pads, those things are expensive.
A lot of things going behind the scenes. Most people, you just see what gets put out there on Friday nights or Thursday nights or whatever nights your high school football team plays. But a lot goes on behind the scenes, and even just going to walk-ons on Wednesday night, for the whatever week it is, you will be helping your team get just some extra funds, and you never know. It could help feed the kids one week. It could go towards a lot of different things. So you are certainly contributing to your high school football program by just coming into walk-ons and having dinner and joining us on Wednesday nights as we do the Pigskin preview.
Yeah, quickly want to thank some of our sponsors who have already jumped on with us here for the Pigskin preview. Bubba Ostelet, of course, in Jennings. Walk-Ons in Lake Charles, who's going to be hosting us each and every week. Lake Charles Memorial Hospital, Sowella, E-Trahan Services, Orange Power Sports USA, South Bow Hardware, and the U.S. Army. I've still got 2 availabilities, which you can probably see. I don't really know where I'm pointing at here on the graphic, but we've got 2 sponsorship opportunities available left for this year's show. If you want to be a part of that, you can always give me a call. My number is in the bottom of the screen. You can also message the page, call the front office. We've got 2 spots left. You're going to get, your business is going to get here on the Facebook. You're going to get commercials, all kind of pub with the show. It's going to be played in walk-ons. Super excited about that. 2 sponsorship opportunities left. Get with us on those, and we will get you taken care of. All right, let's skip that. Let's get on to some football talk. Jamboree week is this week, and the schedule, we were looking at it a little bit ago. It is absolutely loaded. There's so many games. Football is like back.
I will say, if I had to pick one to attend here in Southwest Louisiana, I would go to the Bolton Ford Jamboree at Wayne Hooper Memorial Stadium.
I agree. There are
Houston.
some games at that one, aren't there?
DeQuincy versus South Beauregard. This will be on Thursday. I don't think, is it a 2-day Jamboree? I think it might just be a 1-day Jamboree tomorrow afternoon, but 4 o'clock, get off work a little bit early. DeQuincy, they're coming off a really good year. They lost a lot of seniors, so I'll be curious to see if they can kind of keep that train rolling. They had a really good regular season, had a disappointing loss in the playoffs, but they're taking on South Beauregard. South Beauregard, another team that had a pretty solid year last year. 2 teams looking to kind of build off of their good seasons a year ago. They're going to be taking on each other. Iowa and Westlake. Iowa coming off, they were minutes from the Superdome a year ago. And Westlake, a team we're going to talk about, I think the teams we're most excited to see. I think Westlake is one of those teams I'm personally excited to see. Iowa and Westlake, I think that'll be a really fun Jamboree matchup there. And then it all ends with Sam Houston and Jennings. Sam Houston, another team like DeQuincy, lost a lot of production on offense, so they got some holes to fill there. And Jennings, they did lose Rajon Zeno at running back, but Chris Ned and Humphrey
It's a pretty big
Ned,
loss.
Big loss. But the Ned brothers and Jennings, and under, of course, second-year head coach Brett Fusilier, he did a fantastic job in his first season. He's looking to build off of that in his second season. The Ned brothers are looking for some big things from the Jennings Bulldogs this year. So that's just the Sam Houston Jamboree.
I'm telling you, that thing is absolutely loaded.
You're going to see some of the better teams across. Those 6 teams we just mentioned. They could be frequent on the Southwest Louisiana game of the week this year. I'm just saying. That's a little bit of a hint as to where we may be going.
Watch it.
But certainly, those are all really good football teams. I expect some big things from a lot of those teams this year. So that would be the Jamboree I would recommend. If you want to watch some top to bottom, the best teams as far as Jamboree week, that's the one place to go, I think, is Sam Houston.
Yeah, there are a ton of games that are going to be taking place for Jamboree week. Super excited to get back and rolling. I will say, me personally, obviously, college football week 0 was last week. Week 1 is this week, and with all the teams moving to 12 games and so on. This is great. I'm going to be honest, because college football starts a week ahead of high school football this year. Normally, they start on the same exact week. Me personally, I am absolutely thrilled that we push back high school football a week.
Yeah, because Labor Day weekend is already in our world. It's already crazy enough, and
I will put it this way:
I can't imagine having to add a high like tonight. We would actually, if it did start this week, we'd be at walk-ons tonight. We'd have a Southwest Louisiana game of the week on Friday on top of all the other craziness that is this week. Of course, you're going to do the McNeese game on Saturday.
That's the thing. I haven't even started. I was telling you a little bit ago. I haven't even started looking at Louisiana Christian yet.
So I will gladly take the fact that we kind of have all this craziness this week, and then next week we can worry about the craziness that is the Pigskin preview, and then our first week of the Southwest Louisiana game of the week.
Yeah, I am thrilled that it's a week apart this year, but we're going to be ready to go coming up again next Wednesday night. We'll be live right here on the sports page, on the lake, everywhere, every Wednesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. It'll be pretty cool programming on 92.9 The Lake. 6 to 7 is going to be the McNeese Pokecast, host Jim Gazzolo with all of the McNeese guests. And then as soon as that's over, we're going to flip right to us there at Walk-Ons in Lake Charles for all of your high school football talk. You got your college football talk right ahead of it. Going to be a ton of fun. All right, we're not going to spend too much time on the show today. We're just kind of giving you a little bit of a preview, a little rough run of what it's going to look like here for a Jamboree week. Let's talk about some of the returning players. I mean, there's a ton of guys. I mean, is there anyone, any couple of guys specifically that you're excited about? I can tell you the one guy I think I'm most excited to see how he does this year, and that's because it's his junior year, and that's Javon Vidal. The guy is an absolute freak of nature, and he's no doubt the best athlete in the Southwest Louisiana area. I remember last year I kept telling you, like, dude, this kid is awesome. This kid is a freak. And then we went and watched the playoff game. And we walked away, and I didn't have to tell you that anymore.
No, I mean, and, if you go back and look on Chasten's sports Facebook page, we have a video, and arguably of all the games we did last year, we did, 13, 14 games, something like that.
15,
he pulled off probably the best play we saw in all of those games in the first round of the playoffs against St. John's. But you talk about Javon Vidal, 1,239 passing yards, 18 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. He's completed 59% of his passes. Oh, by the way, he can run the ball as well.
He can run it very well.
1,500 yards and 25 touchdowns on the ground. If you looked at his statistics initially, you would think he's just a running back, but he is a quarterback, and he can sling it around as well. So he is a guy that defenses are going to have a huge problem trying to defend. And on top of that, he's got a lot of his weapons back as well, including Christopher Rito and also Noah Menard. They got some great athletes there at Hamilton Christian. They went 9-3. They did lose in the second round to Riverside Academy, but Coach Dexter Washington, he's got some playmakers to play around with at Hamilton Christian this year. They, right now, certainly I would say are the favorites to win District 4-1A. They got Grand Lake in there. Elton's also in there. But Hamilton Christian right now, look out for the Warriors this year. They are going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've got a ton of talented kids here in Southwest Louisiana. I mean, you look at the offensive linemen. I mean, Albert Simeon is a name that everybody's been talking about here around the area. I mean, when you look at the running back list, I mean, it is absolutely loaded with guys, wide receivers. I mean, Jeremiah Bushnell there in Iowa. I mean, there's a ton of guys on the offensive side of the football that are very exciting. I think the one that, I'm not going to say, we're sleeping on, nobody's going to talk about enough, is Isaiah Thomas at Kinder. That kid is another freak of nature, just a young kid, but when I think he takes that next step this year, and they could be really good.
Yeah, we talk about, last year, a lot of there was a handful of young quarterbacks, one of them being Javon Vidal. You just talked about that. Really stepped up. Isaiah Thomas is one. Chris Ned with Jennings is another one. A lot of young quarterbacks that kind of had really stepped up in just their sophomore years, and now all these quarterbacks are back for their junior years. And, oh, by the way, we get them for another year next year as well. Isaiah Thomas, and he's got Brandon Perkins, another one of the top receivers in the area. So he's going to have a big target in terms of Brandon Perkins over at Kinder. Kinder went 9-3 a year ago. We did their second-round playoff game. They beat Westlake. They really looked impressive. They made it to the quarterfinals a year ago, and I know Coach Justin Reed, he's got, that young core kind of coming back. And Logan LaBeouf is a guy they're going to have to replace. But Isaiah Thomas is a guy I think that can kind of maybe pick up a little bit of slack from the loss of Logan LaBeouf. He's able to, run the ball pretty well as well, but he can throw the ball very well. He's got Brandon Perkins coming back. I mean, Kinder is going to be another team in that particular district and in that class and division that could make another run, maybe not just to the quarterfinals, maybe a little further this year. Who knows?
All right, let's transition to the teams in general. What are some teams you're excited to see this year?
Well, look, we've been doing this for 2 years now, and the last 2 years, the last team we covered was the Iowa Yellow Jackets, and the Iowa Yellow Jackets this year, they got 1,000-yard running back Javian Adams back. They got Jeremiah Bushnell back. One of the top.
Let's hold up. Let's not forget that the only reason Pat is picking Iowa as one of the more exciting teams that he's looking forward to seeing is because he wants to go back for the jambalaya.
I'm just saying, and I speak facts when I say they were the last team we covered the last 2 years. So we covered them in the quarterfinals a year ago against North DeSoto. Last year went all the way to Franklinton, and like I said, they were minutes away from the Superdome last year. They were as close to the Superdome as any team in Southwest Louisiana, not just last year, but 2 years ago as well. So, I mean, they are, and Coach Tommy Johns, every year they lose a ton of players, but Coach Tommy Johns, there's just something about Coach Johns. He knows where to put players for them to excel. So he does a fantastic job of, like I said, and, in Iowa, they're not a select school, so he's got he has what is given to him in the town of Iowa, and he's able to get the most out of all these kids, and he's able to, plug them into the right positions for them to succeed, and I suspect nothing less again this year with the Iowa Yellow Jackets. So they're really a team I'm looking forward to seeing. Another team I think that is that I'm kind of excited to see, I think they are a team we haven't really talked about, but a team that I think will be talked about in the next few weeks is the Westlake Rams. I think Brody Anderson, another quarterback, sophomore year last year, and he lost a couple of his receivers, but he's got Braylon Garrick back. He's got a good offensive line led by Hadley Hardesty. And we also did a game last year where we saw Brody Anderson. He can run the football.
Turn on the wheels.
I mean, look, if you look at Brody Anderson, he's a big kid, and, you look at him, you don't think he's a dual-threat quarterback, but he is a dual-threat quarterback, and he can throw it as well. They may need to find somebody. I think they got Peyton Kyle back. He's going to step up in that receiver role. They lost Kevin Rito and Ryan Allen. That was the two really good receivers last year. So they got to find maybe some depth at receiver. But Braylon Garrick's going to be a workhorse at running back. You got the experience with Brody Anderson. You also got their defense is going to be, I think, pretty solid as well. So they got Brady Duplichan, one of the top linebackers in the area as well. I think, and Coach John Richardson, look, he's won a state title at Welsh a number of years ago. He knows what it takes to get there, and I think he's got a really good team coming back this year with a lot of experience. And I think maybe a couple of areas they got to get some depth. But Westlake is a team I'm excited to see this year.
Yeah, there's a couple for me when you look at. I mean, I agree with you absolutely on both of those teams. I think those two will be two of the better teams in the area. Also, I'm really excited to see a team like DeRitter. They've gotten three really good running backs who are coming back. They've got a good offensive line. Like, they've got a nice core offensively and defensively for head coach Brad Parmalee coming back this year. They had a pretty good year last year. I mean, I did the Westlake DeRitter game last year, and it was phenomenal. That's a team I'm looking forward to seeing. And another team that I'm really excited about is Lake Charles College Prep. I think that is a team. We talked about Iowa, who we've covered all the way to the end the last couple of years. They've been right there as well. Both years they've been right there with the Yellow Jackets, and that's a team that has a pretty good shot to make it to the Superdome.
Yeah, Lake Charles College Prep, you hit the nail right on the head. Lake Charles College Prep, they're a team. They got athletes everywhere. So we talk
about Dylan Vital a little bit ago.
Dylan Vital, not to be confused with Javon Vital, but Dylan Vital is another great quarterback. He's got Aiden Carter. He was a 1,000-yard receiver a year ago to throw to, and then defensively, I mean, they got Cooper Williams on the defensive line. He's going to be a stud. Brendan Melvo at linebacker is going to be a stud as well. So they got playmakers on defense. They got playmakers on offense. And look, I was reading there's an article on KPLC about Lake Charles College Prep. Coach Coach Franklin, look, they want to go to the Dome.
They want to go to the Dome.
And the thing about Lake Charles College Prep, they always have that tough non-district schedule, but they may not come out there with the record that looks very pretty, but playing those top-tier teams at the beginning of the year sets them up for success at the end of the year, because I will say this, Lake Charles College Prep, 6 of the last 7 years has won at least one playoff game. So that just goes to show you they are consistent when they get to the playoffs, and they make some great playoff runs. This year could be the year that the Blazers, make a little bit of a run to New Orleans, and that is their goal.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about LCCP is, when you look at them, you talk about that tough non-district schedule. When you get to the playoffs and you look at them, they're like, oh, that's just a 5-5 team, 4-6 team that sneaks in as the 18 seed. I mean, I'll put it this way: we're going to know a lot after the first 3 weeks. They go to Westgate, or they take on Westgate here at home. They're at Barb in week 2. That is a game that I'm very intrigued by. And then, they have Opelousas here at home, so they got 2 of those 3 at home, all 3 here in Lake Charles.
It's like playing in the SEC, basically,
yeah,
with that
really.
schedule.
But, we'll find out a lot about LCCP after those first couple of weeks. Hamilton Christian, obviously another team I'm super excited to watch. Iowa, I mean, Jennings is another one. I mean, They're replacing a guy like Zeno, but, what can the Neds do? Coach Fuselaire is a great coach. I'll be very interested to see what Jennings do. Elton's another team. Grand Lake. Grand Lake's got a lot of returners as well. I'll be interested to see with them as well. All right. What else do we want to get to? What else do we want to get to today?
You just mentioned a couple of teams there at the end. I kind of want to shout out some players. For the Elton Indians, I don't know if anybody's run for more yards than this kid a year ago, Tristan LeBlanc. 2,030 yards and 23 touchdowns. And then not to mention, he's got another guy that complements him pretty well, McKeelan Lemoyne, who ran for 1,648 yards and 21 touchdowns. So 44 touchdowns and 3,700 yards on the ground between those two guys, and they're coming back this year for the Elton Indians. So get out of the way of the Elton Indians. They had the playoff win a year ago. They beat Basile in the first round. They actually beat Basile twice, I believe. Their rival. That's the battle on the Bayou down over there in Evangeline and Jeff Davis Parish. But the Elton Indians, they may have one of the best running attacks you're going to see in all of Southwest Louisiana. They got arguably the best two-headed monster at running back there. And then Grand Lake, another team, got some good running backs as well. Charles McFarland is a really good running back. He's coming back. And as a matter of fact, he ran for 1,480 yards, 17 touchdowns. And they got a couple of guys coming back that'll really complement him. Charles McFarland's going to be the workhorse of that particular offense. But Keelan Vasquez and Jax Tingler, 2 guys that will contribute to that running game as well. So they're going to have another great running game as well. They are another team. We talked about Hamilton Christian in that particular district, but Grand Lake and Elton, certainly they want to make their claim for winning District 4-1A as well this year.
I know Jamboree's this week. Let's go ahead and look at the Week 1 schedule, because there's a ton of fun games. A couple of Thursday games: North Central at Maryville, East Beauregard at Grand Lake, Basile at Lake Arthur, Westlake at Rose Pine. Barb's going to take the long trip up to Airline. South Bow will be at DeRitter. I'll be very interested to watch that game, or keep a scoreboard watch on that game, just to see what South Beauregard can do. Obviously, losing Christian Wall, but they do have some guys coming back as well. Elton,
I will say, in that particular game, I'm very curious. We talk about a lot of the top players. Shooter Swallow, defensive lineman for South Beauregard. He's one of the best in the area. And we talked about DeRitter and their running backs. They got a couple of big-time running backs coming back. They got the two-headed monster themselves at DeRitter with Connor Rushford and Reed Williams. Also, Javon Fairley is another guy. He can run it and catch it as well. And I'm very curious to see Shooter Swallow on that defensive line, how well they could play and try to stop this two-headed attack between Rushford and Williams.
Elton at St. Ed's is also in Week 1. DeQuincy at Hamilton Christian. That'll be a good measuring stick for the Tigers, who lost a lot from the last year. Iowa at Jennings, LaGrange at Peabody, Oberlin at Vinton, Sam Houston at Leesville, Sulphur at St. Louis. I believe that game's being played at McNeese, which is that's a ton of fun.
And that'll be a ton of fun too. They got the brand new press box there in Navarre Stadium.
Bruce Merchant will feel right at home.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really cool setting for a high school football game.
I wish more games were played there. They really do.
I agree.
Welsh at Kinder, that is another fun game. That's another
big rivalry game.
Just to see, where Welsh is at and where Kinder is at, see how far they need to go. Sacred Heart in Oakdale, Abbeville at Washington Marion. That is the schedule for Week 1. I had talked about maybe announcing our game of the week for Week 1 on this here program, and why not? I've been trying to figure out. So, obviously, nice games for next week. Our Week 1 game, we are going to be going, and by the way, each week we will announce the games this year on Saturday or Sunday mornings. That way it gives fans an extra little bit to see if they're the game of the week. That way they can make plans to come on out to Walk-Ons for the Wednesday night show. This year, for a Week 1, I'm excited about this one. I went and watched this game last year because it was on Thursday night at Sam Houston. Iowa and Jennings going to be going to battle right there in the redone stadium there at Jennings. Super excited for that one. They've got all new facilities over there. They've completely revamped that stadium, which means, and I've already confirmed, both Coach Tommy Johns and Coach Brett Fuselaar will be joining us 1 week from right now on the Pigskin Preview, live there from Walk-Ons. I'm sure the Iowanians are going to be going crazy.
Yeah.
The Jennings folks, I've got to speak at their quarterback club next Tuesday, so I'm sure they will be there. It is going to be a packed house coming up next Wednesday night at Walk-Ons. Iowa and Jennings next week on our Southwest Louisiana Game of the Week, presented by Bubba Ostelet. Super excited for that to finally get going with some high school football.
Yeah, that's a big measuring stick game for both Iowa and Jennings. Iowa did get that win a year ago. I think it was 38-22 was the score there. So Jennings is going to be looking for a little bit of payback on their home turf to open up their 2025 campaign under second-year head coach Brett Fuselaar. So I'm looking forward to going to Jennings. I'm looking forward to the brisket sandwiches from Cormier's. I always appreciate those folks. They feed us well over in Jennings. And, Jennings and Iowa, those are two football programs where they're the only show in town, both cities. So the fan bases are really invested and passionate about their teams. And it's going to be a great atmosphere, I think, in Jennings, and it's gonna be a fun night. The last time we were in Jennings was the Notre Dame game a year ago, where
that was awesome.
Jennings had a really just a monumental win against the Notre Dame Pioneers, a 1-point win. That was the first time Jennings had ever defeated Notre Dame since they became Notre Dame. Jennings had beaten them when I don't even remember what they were called before Notre Dame a long time ago, but that was the first time. They were 0-15 to that point. So Jennings, look, and that was in year 1 of Coach Brett Fuselaar. He's got his second year in now. He's ready to take that next step. Obviously, they were ready to take that next step, beating Notre Dame a year ago, and this year, and then last year, of course, Iowa. Minutes away from the Superdome. I'm sure that's going to fuel a little bit of the fire there for the Iowa Yellow Jackets. And look, what a tremendous game to get started for the Southwest Louisiana Game of the Week. Iowa at Jennings. We invite all the Iowa fans, all the Jennings fans to come out next Wednesday to the Pigskin Preview at Walk-Ons to hear from Coach Tommy Johns and Coach Brett Fuselaar. And then after that, we're going to see y'all at in Jennings on Friday night. It's going to be awesome.
I'm excited about it. Again, come on out, make plans, mark your calendars right now next Wednesday night and every Wednesday night, because look, even though each week your team might not be playing and you just want to go catch some good high school football jab. I mean, a little visiting, a little trash talk. I mean, we're not going to be trash talking, but I mean, you never know.
We're unbiased.
I'm going to be trash talking Patrick eating all the food there at Walk-Ons.
Bring it on.
But you can come on out. You don't have to be a fan of any specific team. Come on out. Be sure to come on out early. Get your spot, because the tables and the seating is first come, first serve. Once the tables are gone, you're going to have to line up against the wall. Hopefully we get to that. That would be awesome if we get some people lining up to watch the show next week.
Yeah, bring the energy, bring the passion, because I know, as I mentioned, Iowa Jennings, they're
rowdy.
They're small. The small towns with just that one high school, and I know those. We've done games at both Iowa and both Jennings. We've been around both fan bases, and they are both very passionate fan bases, both very passionate programs, and it's going to be. There's no better Week 1 game we could have done, hands down, than Iowa and Jennings.
I'm sure I'll talk about this next week, but on a personal note, those two guys, Coach Brett Fuselaar, Coach Tommy Johns, two of my favorite coaches in the entire world. I've worked with Coach Brett Fuselaar for years, going back to when he was at Kinder and I was in Leesville, did his games every year, no matter who he was playing. I mean, he was great. Also, I mean, Coach Johns, I've gained a relationship with him over the last couple of years. Two of my favorite coaches in Southwest Louisiana, so super excited to have them on. And both have already confirmed they will be at the show next week, so we hope you will join us. Again, coming up on Saturdays or Sundays of the week before, we will announce where we're going to go for our Southwest Louisiana Game of the Week presented by Bubba Ostelet that coming up week. And, yes, and then Wednesday nights is going to be the Pigskin Preview, 7 to 8 p.m.
And without giving it away, we already know where we're going week 2.
Yes, we do. We know where we're going week 2.
We know where we are going.
I already know where we're going week 3. What do you mean?
Well, that's true. I think we have a plan to go somewhere week 3, but I guess I don't know if have you confirmed that we're going to be there yet? I know we've confirmed the week 2 location amongst ourselves.
We're working on it.
But yes, I'm excited. I'm very excited about the second week matchup we're going to as well, and the third week matchup, assuming that we.
Oh, and guess what? The week 4 matchup you're not excited about because you won't be here.
I won't be here for the week 4 matchup, but that will be the only matchup I will not be here for. So
yeah, I've heard that one before.
I'll be here when the district races start taking place. I'll be here for the playoffs. You know, week 4, it's okay. I got my wife's 30th birthday. I have to celebrate with her. So
we'll give you a pass this time.
That's okay. I mean, hey, look. I tell you what, let's say we go. Let's say we do 14 games. If I make 13 out of 14, I think that's a pretty good percentage. If you complete 13 of 14 passes, I think that's pretty good, huh?
You know how many I missed?
No. You don't have a wife that has a birthday in September though. So
yeah, I'm not there. All right, there it is. That's the Pigskin preview. This is just a little bit of a preview we wanted to drop in here. We got this done for you guys just to talk a little high school football, talk a little football in general. Coming up next week, we will have the full-fledged show. We'll have all the audio set up in walk-ons. That way, if you come out to the show, you'll be able to hear absolutely everything. We'll have the new fancy backdrop. Hopefully by then, we'll have the stage set up. Everything will be ready to go, where you can sit down and enjoy some high school football talk for 1 hour, and then we'll be able to mingle amongst you before the show and after the show. And then also, my mind just went blank. I was going to say something. Oh, if I know especially with rivalries, I do want to talk about this. We're going to talk about this every chance we get. If there are any rivalries out there, we have a rivalry game. Leave all the BS at home. I'm not dealing with any of it. They're not dealing with it. The rivalries are cool for the football field. They're not going to be cool while we're mingling amongst ourselves there at walk-on. So if there's any of that, leave it at home. I'm not dealing with it. They're not dealing with it. And yeah, just so that's out in the clear. Anything else you want to get out before we get out of here?
No, looking forward to next week. High school football's back. Go check out, the jamborees this week, starting tomorrow, going into Friday, and then next Thursday night, the lights are on for real. And we got some, you mentioned some of the Thursday games and Friday. I'm very curious to see. There's a lot of different ways this football season can unfold for a lot of teams, so I'm excited to see how it unfolds moving forward.
That's it. Again, we'll start officially for real with episode number 1 of the Pigskin Preview. Next Wednesday night, Coach Tommy Johns and Coach Brett Fuselaar will be with us for our Game of the Week. The Pigskin Preview will come your way Wednesday from 7 to 8. It'll be live there at Walk-Ons. It'll be live on 92.9 The Lake, 929thelake.com, on the Lake mobile app, on the Lake Facebook page, and you can always get it right here on the Chastity Tavares Sports Facebook page as well.
No excuses not to watch.
No excuses. No excuses.
This is going to be the most accessible high school football show in all of Southwest Louisiana. Oh, by the way, the only the high school football show in Southwest Louisiana. So join us, whether it's in Walk-Ons or whether it's on Facebook. Come on and join us. Get in the chat. We might even have a moment to jump into the chat with you and talk football from there as well. So it's going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to having some fun on Wednesday nights this season.
Special thanks again to some of our sponsors, Bubba Ostelet and Jennings, Lake Charles Memorial Hospital, Sowella, E-Tray Hand Services, of course, our friends at Walk-Ons Lake Charles, Southbow Hardware, U.S. Army, and Orange Power Sports USA. I have 2 sponsorship opportunities available. You can see them in the bottom corners of the screen if you want to check those out. I know we're trying to point. Not
there we go. There we go. I had it.
Now I'm on the opposite side.
There we go.
We'll make it work. You'll see the availabilities there at the bottom. We'll put your logo. We'll play your commercial all throughout the show. It'll go on all the platforms. Get with us. My number is on the screen, 337-226-8249. You can message the sports page. You can also get with us here at Town Square Media at the front office. Patrick will get you taken care of there. Get get with us. We've only got those two, and they will not last. Get with us. This has been a preview edition of the Pigskin Preview. Next week, it is for real for 1 hour. We will talk to you then. See ya.